everybody, it's Raylan, and I wanted to quick pop on here and give you guys a pretty good update. So I got a letter in the mail saying that they finally got the notarized copies of everything they needed from the state of Wisconsin, because that's what they needed to decide what charges they were going to go forward on. They had charges that were already pending, and then ones they were going to go forward on. So I am so relieved that once they got the actual copy from the state of my sexual assault kit, of the lab results from it, just everything put together, that they decided they were going to go forward with 2 charges of second-degree sexual assault, both with a moderator, as well as 4 additional charges of misdemeanor battery, all of which with moderators as well. Again, this is an open case, so it's just, you could look up this person. It's public record that this is what he has a warrant out for. If he decides to take a deal or go forward, things could change, of course, but I am just so relieved that after they went forward and looked at everything, that they are actually going to do something, because it's so humiliating to come forward and let somebody internally examine you and take swabs and ask some of the most personal questions you'll ever get in your life that are just humiliating. And they shouldn't be, because it's not the person's fault who was assaulted, but it was awful. And the cops coming over, taking evidence, it's a lot. It's overwhelming. And to hear how smug and how awful he was at the restraining order, during the restraining order, basically hearing, or whatever you want to call it. And thankfully they gave me the 10 years. But he was so smug and so clearly, obviously not over this. He's clearly, obviously still holding anger that I did survive, and that's why it's written in there that he still wants to commit homicide 1, 2, and 3. It was very obvious he was upset that I was alive, and that he was going to do something, or is still going to do something on it. So with how he was there and how humiliating it was, and just to know, like, someone basically tore apart, everything of your life. They found the most just brutal details and took pictures of cuts, and it was just a lot, and it's so exposing. And then for it to be like, oh well, we're waiting on a state paper, it's like, well, it just feels so upsetting, because it's like, holy shit, this is the most personal, excuse my language, this is the most personal, awful thing I've ever went through, and I'm just taking a stand, because I always thought I'd be the person. I've always made excuses, and I didn't want to be the center of attention with something like this. So throughout the last 30 plus months of him beating me weekly, multiple times a week, I didn't speak up. Yes, I talked to my counselor about getting a safety plan out. I had called the police a few times towards the end, but it took months, took over a couple of years for me to make that first phone call to the police. I mean, it's got to be my fault. If he can look at me that way and treat me that way, then it's on me, right? And I just kept taking the blame for it, and broken noses, crushed ribs. I'm still in physical therapy from many just injuries that were not healed right, and were not taken care of because of this. And so I was just very upset and nervous that it's like somebody can basically violate you and genitally cut you and torture you and beat you, and you have swollen shut black eyes and a crushed nose and teeth falling out after this assault. And to hear that, oh well, charges are pending, it just feels degrading. Like, wow, I literally let somebody internally, invasively pick at me and test everything on me, because I knew that I was lucky to be alive, because he tried to kill me while sexually assaulting me. And I knew the next time he would kill me, and he will kill somebody if he is not brought to justice for a long time. He will, because I'm not the first person he's hurt, and I won't be the last. Even if he does hard time, I won't be the last. So no matter what I have to do, I'm being 100% honest. It's not my side of the story. It's what the evidence factually proves. I'm not going to tell any of the little details of things that I don't have concrete proof of, because I'm not about that. I just want my truth to be heard, because it is the full truth. And I want him to not kill the next girl. I don't want him to be able to kill me, or worse yet, my daughters. And the next person might not be as physically capable as me. I'm in shape, and most of the time work out. Haven't lost all my baby weight at all from my youngest daughter, but I'm still not a very weak person. And I just think, what if my wrist would have been hurt from him grabbing it, and then the next time he tried to strangle me to death was a couple days later, because he did sprain my wrist really, really badly on more than one occasion. It's like I wouldn't have been able to pull his arm off of my neck. I'd be dead. I would be dead. And so thankfully I am really resilient, and I was able to get away in those situations, but not without permanent damage, and damage that I've got months more of physical therapy to do still, and I'm still in daily pain over. Still, it affects everything. And so I guess even though it was only waiting a few months from November 14th to now, waiting and just hearing, oh well, for us to decide, because they wouldn't give me the clear, like, obviously you were brutally sexually assaulted, somebody tried to murder you, they cut you, come on, like, this is huge. We're obviously going to move forward with charges for that. We just need the state copy. They wouldn't give me that security. What they gave me was, well, for the domestic abuse he was, that the cops witnessed while he was removed from the home and told to leave, basically. When that was going on, those charges absolutely will move forward on. But until we get the state copy, we can't be sure if we'll go forward with everything. Despite they read it all, they had the lab results from the OBGYN, they had the assault kit, they had the evidence, they just needed the state's copy. So I knew they saw all the evidence, they saw everything with the kit, and they were still not 100% sure. And that was so terrifying to me, because I just wanted validation for surviving that and going forward. Because if it was just for me and I thought he's never going to do this again to me, I can be safe if I leave, I wouldn't have went forward. But knowing he's done this to other people, and knowing he still obviously has the intention of ending my life and my daughter's lives, I can't allow that. I can't be silent. And it just, so few people report, and me included. I'm somebody who always thought I would never report something like this if I went through it. And to actually finally have a voice and come forward after so long and so much abuse to say, hey, I shut up to the physical abuse, the broken bones, the burns from cigarettes, the knife cuts, everything. I shut up. I dealt with it because the anger was towards me, and I called the cops when it was escalating towards sexual stuff. But didn't quite at that point. It wasn't a sexual assault at that point. I just saw it was starting to head that way. Yes, I called the cops because it was also aggression towards my daughter that I saw. So yes, I've called the cops on him, but then immediately dropped everything and was sissy about it, to be honest. And just, oh, well, I have no intention of, I thought he was really going to kill me. I figured if they were like, all right, well, we're taking you away, he would have somehow pulled the officer's gun or grabbed a weapon of his own and killed either the girls or me or both before he was stopped. And he threatened that. So for me to have gone through what he did with, when he actually was able to go forward with sexually assaulting me, it was so unspeakably horrible. And so he obviously wanted to kill me, and he almost did. And he treated me so much less than human, and so much less than even a sex toy. It was disgusting. It wasn't anything that was blurred lines or it could have been mistaken. This was me screaming no and trying to claw his arm off of me and fighting him to get him off of me, and somebody brutally forcing themselves on me. And I went forward and spoke the truth. And just, I've been losing a lot of hope in our system. Well, it's been a couple months, and I'm just sitting here thinking, wow, like, I have no security. I know there's the pending misdemeanor charges, but am I going to get any justice? Or did I let them poke and prod me and it was just so invasive. I don't even want to get into it again. But did I do all that for essentially nothing? Was it Not that it was nothing, because I still went forward and I still spoke up, but I would have felt so degraded if it was all for nothing, that he could go out and still be out there and could kill me, or worse yet, my daughters or somebody else. And I know he will, because the person before me thinks he's still capable of killing her, and it's been like 4 years for them about. So if she's still in fear of this person, he's obviously really awful. And I always think of Scooby-Doo. It was a quote I read while trying to find inspirational quotes through all this. And it said that one thing Scooby-Doo taught us was that all of the real monsters are people. And I really never resonated with that. I always could see, like, even the worst people I ever met, I could see something in them that made them human or made them redeemable. And I can't with this person. So for now, all I can say is I don't know how this is going to go. I don't want him to take a deal unless it's at least one of the sexual assault charges going through. But I will happily withstand a trial and go out there and just let them tear me apart. I don't care, because I'm being honest, and the truth will set me free and protect people from him. I still have that hope. So I'm hanging in there. I'm going to fight for my daughter's safety, my safety, and the next victim's safety, because if it's not me who dies, it'll be somebody else very soon, because he's escalating, obviously. So I'm in this for the long haul. I don't care if it takes years. I don't care if I have to tell my story 50 times over on the stand. My story is the truth. It's not a side of it. It's what really happened. I won't say the hundreds of mean comments or any of the times he hit me with where I didn't take pictures of the bruises. I'll stick with just the facts that are proven. And that's enough to know that this is somebody with the intent and will to kill, who is a rapist and an abuser, and he's going to escalate and kill the next person, if not me as well. And worse yet, the children are in danger. Or he's dated people with kids before. He could hurt somebody else's children as well as mine and myself and another female. He's hurt so many people and done so much wrong, and everybody's so afraid of him that they don't go forward and press charges, because he's really that scary and he's really that twisted of a person. And I know that I'm in for hell because he's not kept to the restraining order. I've had multiple third-party people contact me. It's not been a walk in the park. He's not being smart about this, essentially, and just shutting up, which he doesn't have to. But I'm not going to, if I die because of him, I'm going to know I tried to survive for my girls and for the next person to not be dead. So I'm just very thankful to get the letter that here's a warrant out for his arrest. There are 6 charges, 2 of which are sexual assault charges, and that he's not going to get to brutally rape me and attack me and try to kill me and then get to be smug and think I don't even deserve protection in a restraining order, and not even stick to the topic and just make mean comments and argue with the court commissioner. He's obviously thinks he's invincible, and that's a very scary place to have somebody who, when they didn't think they were invincible, still tried to kill somebody and almost succeeded, and still raped somebody, and still has raped other people. He needs to be stopped, and I am so thankful for the love and support I get on here. I'm not going to be silent. I'm not going to sit there and, oh, it's an open case, so, you got to be careful what you say, because all I'm doing is stating the truth. And I'm trying to warn people out there that as far as it's going this way, at least, it might seem impossible or like no one's listening, because that's sure as hell what I've thought for the last few months. Like, wow, I can have to sit in a courtroom while he's arguing with the commissioner and immediately breaking the restraining order by trying to have contact and get third-party contact, but then they do nothing, and they're still, just pending charges, and they'll let me know whenever they get around to it. It seemed impossible, like I would never get justice for anything. And now it looks like things are turning around. So just don't lose hope is my message in this. I'll do a better video later on and really get into what I'm feeling. But I just wanted to state that, yeah, it feels hopeless. And it felt like it wasn't worth it. And it's scary, and it would be so easy to just shut up and not want to go forward. But it's worth it. Believe me, it's worth it. And it looks like with a little patience. People will listen, and people will realize what the truth is. I love you guys. I will post a new video that's a little lighter hearted soon. Thank you for your support. Stay strong and don't stay silent.